Hello, everyone. I hope I'm doing this right. And I'm trying to, let's see. Okay. I'm going to send Tatted the link, and bear with me a minute. Oh, good. I have his email, so I'll email it. I was going to okay, so see how I can do this. No, that's not. We're waiting, everyone, for Tatted Tee. Let me. Okay. See if I could find. Oh, okay. Okay, that was. Right. Okay, so Tatted Tee should be joining us soon. And let's see. So, can anyone hear me? Not sure yet. So, can anyone hear me? Mute this. Not sure yet. So, can anyone hear me? Mute this. Not sure yet. So, can anyone hear me? Mute this. Not sure yet. So, can anyone hear me? Hello. I'm having trouble, honey. I think I'm online, but I can't see the chat from my computer, but I can my iPad. See the chat from my computer or one of them, or at least mute my. I don't even know what's happening. I think they can hear me, but I can't find how to mute. So how do I mute my iPad? Because that's the only place I can see the chat. Well, because I can see the chat from my iPad, but not from my computer. Oh, okay. I see. Okay, because I muted my iPad so I could see it now. Can everyone hear me? Okay, great. Um, not where it says YouTube page link. No. Okay, what? Okay, and where do I find that link? Okay, so that's why he can't get on. I gave him the wrong link. Okay. Okay, I can't find that link. No. Oh, search. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I got it. Okay. 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 Okay, I got it. Okay. Oh, I'm messing up. Okay, so it was sent. Oh, so many different windows. This is maddening. Okay, Tatted, I just sent you the link. The first one was the wrong link. I apologize. Uber Goober lady is on the phone walking me through this, and I apologize to everyone. Hi, Black Cat, Moon Witch, Aaron. Oh, Aaron says, you're fine. I'm having a panic attack. Whew. Becky, Claudette. Let's see if he can get on if I sent the wrong. Mrs. T says, send it to Hangouts. I sent it to his email. I could, but I would have to open Twitter or get off the phone with you to send it to his Twitter. I sent it to the email you gave me. So, Mrs. T, I sent it to his email, and I'll just send a second one just in case. Huh? How could? Okay, so you told me. Okay. There's the microphone. Oh, invite people. Oh, there's the link. Okay. Oh, so I just put his email address. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. And okay, now let me find. Try not to say his email address as I. Okay, he comes up. Okay, wonderful. Oh boy, heart attack. I think I've done everything. I am so sorry to take your time. I'm pretty sure he did come up, so I think he'll be able to get on. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Hello, everyone. I'm so sorry, Mr. and Mrs. T. Oh, let's see. Oh, here we are. Yay. Hello, welcome.
Hey.
Can you hear me okay? Am I too loud or?
Oh, you sound perfect.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Oh, welcome. Welcome to my channel. I'm really new at this. I'm learning and I apologize. You're the very first person I have sent a link to. I've received links, but I've never sent one. And I guess the more we do this, the more we're going to learn how to do it.
That's right. All is well. All is well.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, the reason it's important for me to have these videos on my channel is because I'm hoping to reach the cancer community, that audience, and have these videos available for everybody. And so that's what I'm doing, is I'm building that type of content. And I wanted to invite guests that can share their story, experience strength and hope, such as yourself. And I just want to thank you, Tatted Tee, for coming on and sharing your story. When we're done here, I know there's a lot of people that have been waiting to hear your story that are sub to me as well as sub to you. But when we're through, I'm going to add your channel in the descriptions. So your channel will be in the descriptions, and they'll be able to go ahead and sub to you and find you. So I'll let you go ahead and get started with, let's start at how you found out, if you knew if you were suspect before you went to the doctors, how you knew, what happened after that, what treatments you've had. Now that I assume that you're out of treatment, what you do now as a survivor. I'd like to hear those kinds of things, and I don't want to, interrupt a lot of while you're talking. So I think those things would be very interesting to hear, and a little bit about your spiritual growth that keeps you grounded. Because for me, every year I get retested and scanned, and I'm still waiting. Well, I just got my reports back, but I'm waiting to hear back from my doctor. But I know that when we wait to hear, the news that, that if it's back or if it's not, what we do in the meantime, just to draw strength from. And so I'd like to hear a little bit about what you do. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to you. Everyone, this is Mr. T, Tatted Tee.
First of all, I want to say to you, sweet Meadow, thank you so much for having me on your channel. It's always an honor, especially in a setting as such as this. And so bless you. Thank you for having me on. To get into it, obviously, as the title says, if people didn't catch it, I'm a colon cancer survivor. I'm a very unique colon cancer survivor, very rare. My colon cancer was started at the age of 12. I was a 12-year-old boy. My world turned upside down overnight. But when I was a kid, around that time, I was what you would call like a husky boy. You would never thought I was sick or anything. I was, I don't know, 12 years old, weighed about 134 pounds, you know, so that's a good sized kid. And it was Christmas time, and we just had Christmas. And then immediately the day after, I started getting such really, really bad pain in my lower abdomen. And I started spiking high fevers. I couldn't go to the bathroom. I couldn't even move out of my position. And my father and my stepmother agreed that while he was at work to finally, because it was after 3 days of suffering like that, my father told my stepmother, you know, take him to the emergency room, and if you guys need anything, call me at work. And my stepmother took me to the emergency room there locally, and they said that my appendix was bursting, that they needed to rush me back to surgery. It was my first surgery. I was a 12-year-old little boy. So I was scared to death, you know, and the doctors assured me that, you know, it's a very common procedure, that all would be okay. I'd get to go home just shortly after recovery. Well, that never happened. They had put me, when they had went in to remove my appendix, they was completely blown away because I didn't just have beginning stage, I had full-blown colon cancer. It was so bad that it was wrapped into my appendix, and they just was complete. They had never seen a case like that at that age, and they back then they wasn't used to colon cancer. They weren't used to cancer going side to side like that. They were used to the up and down when it grows. That was more of the common thing that they were knowledgeable on back then. So they were just completely blown away by that. They had what you call like put you in like sedative, like a medical induced coma type thing. The next thing I know, that I am in a children's hospital, but no one had told me what was going on. They was very secretive. I was kept sedated, kept completely out of it. I didn't know I existed. But one morning, they're at Children's Hospital, not aware of my surroundings, where I was at, what was happening. The the oncologist came on in the room, and he was talking to my dad and my stepmother. And I kid you not, the God that brought me off my deathbed, when that oncologist said colon cancer, I immediately opened my eyes and began to panic and was screaming and crying. There was blood transfusions going into me, chemotherapy, you know, all those IVs, all that nasty stuff. And I'm screaming, crying, and looking at my daddy, am I dying? Am I going to die? And my dad, he can't handle stuff like that. He immediately ran out the room. They left. They had to leave. Well, I tried to get off the bed because I was scared and just wanting to go for my dad. But when I tried to get off, I just hit the floor, and the nurses all panicked and ran over and picked me up because, you know, I had all this blood. I didn't know what was all going in me and what was going on. But my world was turned upside down as I knew it, because here I was, a typical 12-year-old boy. And then overnight, I feel, you know, very ill. And then I'm being told I have advanced colon cancer. And they were completely blown away, like I said. They just so happened, when they were going to operate to try to remove the cancer, a new surgeon had just came to that children's hospital that very week. And I'll even give his name. He's a very reputable surgeon. His name is Dr. Victor Nanangas. And he came in and operated along with a few others. And they was going to have to do a colostomy. But Dr. Nanangas said, I think I can save him from this. And he was able, by his expertise, they said that he was the best of the best. And they was able to save me to where I did not have to have a colostomy. So the surgery went well. Like I was in operating room it was a morning to night type thing. I was out all day and night. I mean, it was a long surgery, as any of you survivors can imagine. But anyways, obviously after I recovered, they put me back up in my room, and I'm wanting to go home. I'm just a 12-year-old child. But the oncologist came up to me and began to speak to me about chemotherapy. And I get a little choked up about this because I also suffer from PTSD because of this.
Right.
But when you're a 12-year-old kid just starting junior high, the last thing you want to hear is a couple things that he just said. And it was this. He said, "You're going to lose your hair." And I began to weep. I just wept. That alone just completely was crushing me from the jump. And he said that this is a long road. And my oncologist, he was from the Air Force, and amazing oncologist. But anyways, when he spoke that, obviously I was just devastated all over again, because again, I'm a child. I'm thinking like a child. I'm worried about my hair, my appearance, and questioning God. Why is this happening to me? I was fine a few days ago. Why is this happening to me? Why isn't my dad here beside me? Like, what is going on? Why am I dying? Why? Like, as a child, that's what I was yelling out. Well, the chemo treatment was already started before they even told me. They got right to it. But the cancer, like I said, was already advanced. And the oncologist gave the news that they didn't think that I would survive. The percentage rate was about 0%, is what he said. That was his words. And I want to tell you all, people, all of you here I know have been affected by cancer, whether yourself or a loved one or a friend. People have asked me often, what is chemotherapy like? And all I can say is this, that when that chemotherapy runs through your veins, your life is going out. It literally destroys you. And that is the thing that I hated the most. But the pain that I felt, there was no amount of pain pumps that they were giving me that took the pain that I was feeling in not just my physical body. The pain was so bad. So I was crying. Listen to me, y'all. This is so true. For over 2 weeks, a little child, 12 years old, crying out, "God, take me. I can't do this anymore. It hurts so bad. I'm hurting, God. Please take me. I can't handle the pain. Just take me." I cried and cried out. I was at the point, just take me. I went, listen, I'm keeping this real. I went from 134 pounds down to 57 pounds, people. They said I was so many pounds away from a human skeleton. Imagine that as a 12-year-old boy, it happened within a quickness. But this is the thing. People have come to know me as a spiritual person. I'm not a religious, I am a spiritual. And I can speak that because I'm a living testimony of that, because it has brought me through thus far. I told you that I cried out for over 2 weeks, ready to just die, ready to go. But one morning, I awoke, still lying there on my deathbed. And this is what I said, people. You don't have to be religious. You don't have to agree. It's not about the religion. This is my walk, my spiritual walk. I awoke as a 12-year-old little boy who I wasn't taught about God. I was not taught about God. I woke up on my I call my deathbed because that's what it was. And I began to speak. My daddy wasn't there, but my true daddy was there. And I looked up and I said, "I thank you, Father, that you said we shall live and not die. I thank you, Father, that you said in Isaiah 53:5 that with your stripes we are healed." Now also listen, people, it may not happen in the manifestation that you want or I want, but that does not mean that God lies. Listen to me. When I begin to speak life, the Bible says that the gift is in the tongue, that the power is in the tongue to speak life or death or blessings or cursings. I spoke his word because the Bible says his word goes out and cannot return void. So God does not lie. I stand on his word, and you have to be sincere and have faith. So as I begin to speak life, I begin to rise up. I tell you what, it was a battle, and it was a hard battle. But when you surrender yourself and you allow him to carry you like his word says that he will do, I'm telling you, it will change you. It is through him and by him. I don't know it all. I might be a licensed and ordained minister. I might have been a co-pastor in my life. I don't know it all. And I'm not a religious person anymore. I'm just spiritual. But I will never, ever, ever go back on what God has done for me. I know the experience that I felt all by myself in that hospital room and at that children's hospital. I'm telling you, he's real. And he is a healer. He is a healer. Speak. The Bible says, speak those things that are not as if they were. So even to that extent, you look at it like that. Okay, I speak life. I speak healing. I speak all is well. And again, the power of the tongue is so powerful. Look at what the tongue does to one another when we come against one another. That it is so powerful. That's destructive. It's hurtful. We're all guilty of that. But that's a whole nother subject. I'm just telling you how powerful the tongue is. You have what you speak. So, and this is my journey. This may not be the next person's, but I'm telling you, I have to be obedient to where God brought me from, who brought me from it, because nobody taught me about this God. Nobody taught me about this Jesus. I knew my Heavenly Father from a little tiny child. I knew that was my true Father. And it was truly God who brought me through, because as you can imagine, as a fellow survivor and any others that are watching and listening in, the chemo was so horrible. Everything that happened to me was so random and so different. In the middle of chemotherapy, they had to stop the treatment because I developed Crohn's disease so bad. So bad.
Wow.
I'm constantly pouring blood. And they said that usually people will have Crohn's disease first and then it can turn to colon cancer. But everything that was happening to me was completely just overwhelming. I mean, they just could not believe what they was seeing. So I was just so sick with steroids. I mean, you name it. I mean, it was destroying my body. But at the same time, I chose life. I chose to live. I told myself I would continue to fight. I would rise up. And you know what? It happened just like that. It went from a 0. It went to 10%. I remember rejoicing over the 10% chance of survival. I remember rejoicing at a 50% survival. I was called to speak when I was out of the hospital, when I was going for treatments as an outpatient. I was called to speak at a church to give a testimony. And at that time, my outcome, they were saying about 50%. And I was testifying, thanking God that I have 50% chance of life now. And then the pastor said to me, he said, with God, it's 100%. And he reminded me. So I truly took in what he said. And I said, you know what? You are right. And again, this is my spiritual journey. I continue to speak life, and I spoke life completely, because God don't halfway do something. He don't just kind of heal you or a little bit heal you. If you're healed, you're healed. And I tell you what, the physical thing is one, that pain is really bad. But if somebody hasn't endured cancer, the emotional, the mental, it absolutely, it dies with the flesh. I mean, it just completely drained. I mean, you have all these emotions, and all you want to do is you fight. You want to live. And with my personal journey, it is only through him and by him And let me tell you, I'm the first on this panel. I'm telling you, I'm the first people to tell you that I don't deserve it. I'm not worthy. I'm far from worthy. But because of his mercy, for whatever reason, I am here today. And I try my best. I'm not perfect. I know I fell. But I try my best to speak love and positivity, to unify and come together. That's what I try to do. But obviously, I'm attacked with that a lot. But know this, that no matter the diagnosis, no matter how bad it seems, please take my word and just speak all is well. I know that is so much easier said than done because I've been there. But I'm telling you, he gives hope to the hopeless. And I'm a living testimony of that because I once was hopeless, but I was filled with so much hope because I spoke his word and not my own. And I was brought up and made whole. And of course, the chemotherapy, I'm sure, Sweet Meadow, as you would know, gave so many horrible side effects, so many other health issues. And as a man my age, men my age don't have to live the way I do. But you know what? I thank God. My doctors even say, how do you come in here and smile and say all is well? I've had a psychiatrist tell me that, well, most people would have took their own life with what you've been through. But I lift my head up and I smile and I speak all is well because I truly believe that you have what you speak. And that is my true, pure, most genuine experience in my life. That is a testimony that I could never betray. I would be a major fool to ever discredit what God brought me from. Some of you may not believe in him, and that's okay. I'm not here to persuade you on that. But I'm telling you, think about a little boy never being taught of anything, any being, any higher calling, anything. How did I call out to him? How did I speak his word? I'm telling you, there's something to it. God is a good God. And yes, I'm still sick. Yes, I have health issues. The one thing that bothers me the most is through the Crohn's. I even had Crohn's so bad it was in my esophagus, which is kind of rare. It's not very common to be in your esophagus. But now it had turned to Barrett's esophagus, which is the pre-cancer stage. And that I was diagnosed with that. The biopsies came back out. That's about 10 years ago. And listen, this goes with what Sweet Meadow said. She's waiting on the report from the doctor. Any of you, I encourage you to go get checked out because I'm going to tell you what I've been doing for the past 10 years. I did the opposite and I'm in a very scary place again. And my faith is being tested. When they diagnosed me with the Barrett's esophagus, and my gastroenterologist always said, you do not want that. You do not want that. It'd be a bad situation. That's all he would say to me. When they diagnosed me and they wanted me to come back for medicines and treatments and all that, and more operations, I ran. And guess what? I never went back. Now I look and I got 6 babies. I have a wife. I have a beautiful life. I'm blessed. Any of you, you can feel healthy as can be. I felt healthy. Don't take it for granted. Go get checked. Because now I meet with my doctor in January. Pray for me, y'all. For you that pray or love and light, whatever it is that you do, please send some my way. Because I go and meet with my doctor in mid-January to discuss. She's hooking me up with this last surgeon because I kept failing every one of them, not showing up. There's only one surgeon in this state who's willing to work with me now. That's how scared. That's how bad I've been traumatized. And I did not want to. I was going to all these consultations and would never show up for the surgery. And they would give me like a 2-strike, 3-strike, you're out. No call, no show. And I went through everybody in the state. So here is my last shot, and they're willing to admit me where I'm comfortable, where I can be in the hospital, because that was my biggest fear. I didn't want to do it at home because I have too many health issues, and to do the prep and all that, I would be very sick. So at least I would have the comfort of being in the hospital, having IV fluids and whatever. If something happens, then all is well. I'd be there with medical staff. But that's the scary part, though, you all. I feel so selfish because I put everything that I'm blessed with aside and been running when my doctor said, now we're at a point. You're going to come to me this next appointment and you're going to choose either to work with me and we're going to fight this together, or you're going to have to take the other route. She said, I'm trying. Listen, people, I'm 35 years old. When a doctor tells a 35-year-old man, I'm trying to keep you alive long enough so you can see your kids graduate, that hurt. That it's traumatizing. But I know that I have to go get checked out. I know I have to get back. I've had some CAT scans in the emergency room from other health issues, and they didn't see any tumors or blockages, and I thank God for that. But my main concern is my esophagus. I have a lot of esophageal problems. My voice comes and goes. I can't hardly swallow. The chemotherapy caused dysphagia really, really bad. I mean, it completely destroyed my esophagus. But anyways, I just, everybody, I encourage you, get checked. If you have a loved one, a friend, whoever the case may be, if they need to be checked, encourage them to be checked, because it's so crucial. It's so important. We're not promised tomorrow. And, I'm going to still, in my faith, speak all as well. I'm going to go through. I'm going to put myself and my fears aside. And I'm going to go talk with my doctor, and I'm going to follow through with the surgeries. I have many, many major operations that they got to do. They got to go break my ribs and rebuild my diaphragm. They got to repair another hernia. There's just so much they got to do. They can't do any surgeries on my chest or my stomach because I'm full of scars from the cancer and another major surgery for GI. So, yeah, get checked. It's so important. But for those that are battling cancer right now, those of you that may be in here that have a loved one and you're hurting because they're battling cancer, I can tell you from my experience only, just be there, love and support them, and pray whatever it is that you do. Love them, and I'm telling you, that makes a big difference. It did for me. But encourage them. Encourage them, encourage them. I know that when people would come around me and they would cry, they get emotional, it would scare me. And again, I was a 12-year-old little boy though. But I was thinking, well, they know something that I don't know type thing. But I tell you, that is my most sincere, truest testimony of my life. That is my journey with that's the quickest rundown that I can give you on my overcoming colon cancer. That I was diagnosed, it had happened in December of 1994. And here I am, 35 years old, people, with a wife and 6 children. I'm blessed. And I thank God for that. And it's time that I don't take it for granted. And I obviously do what I need to do and go get checked out. But that's what happened. That's my story. That's my journey. And I'm still on my journey. But all is well in the midst of it all.
That's quite the ordeal. Starting out at age 12, I could see how scared, even with an adult mind, I was horrified. So a child's mind, I could just only imagine. That breaks my heart. I just don't think any child should have to go through giving up the playground and their friends to be in that hospital bed. It tears my heart out.
Yeah.
So you rely on your faith to get through just one day at a time, pretty much. I'm taking it. That's what I do. One day at a time.
Absolutely.
I don't know. There's not a whole lot we can do, once we've gone through all that, it's always going to be in the back of our minds that we're going to have to go through it again. And, I pray that I don't have to go through, a second bout of it, but I don't even think I could, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing also, again, for as fellow cancer survivors, is this is me. I've been through it. And thankfully I was younger age. That helped a lot. But I tell you what I came from and what I had to go through with chemotherapy and all that treatment and being exposed to all the radiation, all that stuff, I'm being honest with you. I don't want to do it again. I don't want to do it again. That's something I have determined in my mind and in my heart. So that's why I'm truly trusting and believing and speaking all as well, regardless of the symptoms, regardless of the circumstances. I'm just going to speak all as well because I don't want and I will not have that poison enter my veins again. And that's just me. That's my choice of where I'm at. But anybody that's had to go through it or is experiencing it now, my heart really goes out to you. But also, there's hope. There's many of us that were so bad that we were on that limbo of life, not knowing if we were going to live or die. I mean, I think we have Uber Goober in here. She blessed me, touched me. I got to listen in on some of her, what she told about her journey with cancer, and it made me see her so pure and so beautiful, and seeing those pictures, my God, she's such a beautiful lady.
She's very strong. She is a beautiful lady.
And for what she shared, she didn't have to do that, but she did because of her heart. And I truly see her as not just beautiful on the inside. Her beauty was not taken. She is beautiful inside and out. And so are you, sweet Meadow.
Oh, thank you.
You all know who you are. Remember your self-worth. You're beautiful people.
We don't share our stories for attention or for sympathy. We share our journeys because we know that others are going to be scared to death, and we share because we want to show them, look, if I could do this, you could do this. And that's it. It's sharing hope. And that's the bottom line. And I've been involved with the cancer community since day one, since I was done being out of bed all day, and I'm still around it. And it's not easy being a caregiver. I'm hoping that, I can have a couple of caregivers on here too and share their stories because, they're remarkable people too. I wanted to ask you, how did your family handle this while you were going through this? What do you think was going on? I know you're 12 and maybe a lot of this is, you've maybe, I don't know, blocked some of this out maybe, or maybe you remember it very clearly, but tell us a little bit about your family.
Well, that's a really tough one right there because I don't come from your typical family. I was given up as as a baby, as an infant. My birth mother suffers from mental illness, and I don't hold judgment on that. But she tried to take mine and my sister's life, and my father was an alcoholic, and he was running the bars and doing his thing as a man. So when I was a baby, my grandmother took me in. And my father, when he had remarried for the fourth time, and that was at the age that when I fell sick, ironically, he had just remarried, and he decided that he wanted to take me and my sister. And he went and got us, and we started to live with him, and I literally fell sick right after that. So I never had the mother father at from 12 and under that. I just knew in my mind, I knew in my heart that my true mother and father was God. That's as a little child, that's just what I always knew. Nobody told me, I just knew. But I do know that the way that my father handled it, as a father myself, I couldn't do how he handled it. But again, everybody handles things differently. He ran. He didn't want to see me like that. It broke his heart. I'm sure he had a lot of guilt that he felt. He's told me stories how he wanted to take his own life. He tried taking his life. Probably with all the regrets, and then having to see me like that, thinking that he's losing a son. That I didn't have people. I didn't have family like that. And that's one thing to go through cancer, but to go through it alone, especially as a child, it's very hard and it's very scary and it's very heartbreaking. But at the same time, I was comforted because of who I knew I belonged to, and that's God. But I was blessed on with I refer to her as Mama. I call her Mama, the lovely lady that God placed and gave me as a mother. I speak about her on my channel a lot. She's a Black lady. My mom was a Black lady, and she took me in. And she's a very spiritual woman, and she literally nurtured me like in any. I mean, so genuine and so pure. And she's huge on faith, huge on power of prayer, and that has truly blessed me and helped keep me thus far. So that was how it was for us at that time, at that age, for us dealing with the cancer. I do know, like I said, everybody handles things different ways. But my family was a very messed up family because I remember driving home from treatment. When you go get treatments once you're an outpatient, you're in the infusion room all day pretty much.
Right.
Especially the type of chemotherapy I was on. It was a type they said very, very strong. We were driving on the highway, and this is true, just as sure enough as I'm sitting here. We were driving, me and my father driving home. We was on the highway, and he's looking over, and he keeps laughing. And he would turn away, and I would say, "What are you laughing at, Dad? What are you laughing at?" And I was so sick because I just had all day, all that treatment. And I was just so sick. I felt so lifeless. And I know you can relate with that. But he looks over and he says, and he's laughing. He says, "You don't have no eyebrows or eyelashes." And I tell you what, that broke my heart because the one that's supposed to protect me, to lift me up, to help carry me through, could do something like that. He may not have meant no ill intentions, but I tell you what, that is not something you say to anybody going through cancer, especially your child. But that's the type of family that I had came from at that point. So I'm sure that tells it all right there.
Yeah. Wow. So it's probably a hard question. Do you look at your kids, you think in a little different way than you would if you had never been through all this? I mean, do you ever look at them and wonder if they might get this, or if they might have to go through this? Or I guess what I mean is, like, are you a little overprotective, or are you a little extra worried?
Yeah, I'm getting choked up with my children. That's the only way people can get to me is coming about my children. But um, obviously, I went to a lot of genetic doctors, and they reassured that the colon cancer was not genetic. They have no explanation whatsoever of why I developed colon cancer. At that time, the youngest in the nation. Um, but far as my children, my oldest son, who's about to be 16, he's got irritable bowel syndrome. He's got the high blood pressure. He's got the pre-diabetic. He's already on metformin for it. I'm already seeing myself in him. And it scares me because I mean, us parents would walk through hell with a smile on our face for our babies. And here I got all these children, and yeah, I'm super protective, super protective. And my 9-year-old, my little redhead, my little Italian, he suffers from really bad anxiety because, and so does my youngest one, Elye, um, because they have to see daddy sick all the time. Because I get seizures periodically, and I had came to from a seizure one morning, and this is what I woke up to. This is what I'm saying, people. There's something about God. I come to with my 2 little babies lying their hands on me with tears down their face, praying over me. And
Oh,
what that truly touched me, because I thought, you know what? I have failed at so many things in life, but there's something that I'm doing right for my little babies to do something like that. And I tell you what, that was so precious. But the guilt that I feel, that I carry every day, I feel like they're robbed of life because all of the anxiety I suffer from, and it gave me agoraphobia so bad. I don't leave my house, and when I do, I have to take medication. I have to go straight to where I'm going. And my kids always want to go to the park. They want to do this. They want to do that. And I think, well, they got other daddies out there. Other daddies are out there with their kids, and here I am stuck here. And so my kids got this anxiety, and it's just, it breaks my heart because it does affect your family. It affects your children. It affects your loved ones, and that's a big thing for me is my children knowing that the weight they have to carry for me and what they have to watch me go through. So I'm very super protective because I'm blessed with such beautiful children. They're truly good children, very good children. I have no, I mean, for they to see somebody hurt or cry, they want everybody to be happy and everybody to be okay, and that's so beautiful. And God, I pray that they have perfect health, that all is well. That is my biggest thing. And I try to reassure them, babies, don't worry about daddy. Daddy will be all right. I didn't give up. I didn't come this far. I didn't go through all that I went through to just give up now. So I I love my children. I mean, I live and breathe for my children. That's what I do. So yeah, there's so much worry and anxiety with that, and it affects them with the anxiety as well. So
yeah.
they go through a lot.
Yeah, with my granddaughters, what I'm doing is I'm just um, making a journal and pictures, and we're not even discussing it with them at this age. Um, but it's important to me that at the appropriate age, that they fully understand what I've been through, and I'm leaving copies of reports and medical records and stuff, and their diaries, that I'm building for them, because I want them to grow up with the knowledge, of self-exams, and early detection is everything. It will save your life.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I look at them and I worry, I wonder, and I pray a lot for them.
It's definitely it's rough. It's a tough thing.
Yeah, it is. When it comes to the kids, mine, I was told mine was not genetic, but shortly after I was diagnosed, a cousin was diagnosed, and her cancer cells aren't exactly like mine. So, um, but I'm pretty convinced that mine is more environmentally. Um, I was the type of person who ate anything I chose. I smoked for a good many years. Um, I drank. I did whatever I wanted, and And I kind of toned it down after my mom was diagnosed with lung cancer. And as a matter of fact, she died in my presence. I was her caregiver for 2.5 years. And it only took me 6 months to quit smoking after she passed. I got rid of those cigarettes right away. And then I changed my diet after I was diagnosed. But that and faith and doing the best we can on a daily basis. That's where I'm at today, is just one day at a time and do the best I can, for myself. And it sounds pretty much like you're doing the exact same thing. I think we're always going to worry. It's always going to be in the back of our mind what we've been through. I 100% agree with you about the side effects of chemo. Uber Goober lady had the same experience. She's had some side effects herself that she's still dealing with to this day. So am I. So are you. I don't want this in any way to discourage anyone from taking chemo if that's the choice that their doctor and they decide to do. I chose my treatment plan, and I do believe it is a reason why I'm here today. So I'm certainly not gonna condone it. But it is scary, to start it, and it is scary, to live with the side effects. And I'm sorry that, to hear that, I know a lot of survivors have told me that they ended up with anxiety problems. I have anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder, yes, is definitely a big one. I'm learning from a lot of survivors.
Yeah, that's the PTSD is so horrible because, far as how it affects me, obviously I run from procedures, I run from treatment. I go past the hospital, I have panic attacks, have full of anxiety when I go to the doctors. I certain smells, and Sweet Meadow can. I don't know if you could have this, but my oncologist said this was very common for people to have cancer that take chemotherapy. It messes with your senses, like your taste and smell.
Absolutely.
Well, what's so weird with me is I would get sick all the time from smelling air and water. It would absolutely, there was just such a horrible smell, and it would just keep me sick. Well, sometimes those smells come to me, and I just get these flashbacks. It's like I'm back there again, and it just it's scary, and I obviously have all these mixed emotions when I'm going through it, and I have to, calm myself down, and it's something that I'm trying to overcome too. I'm trying to fight, but the PTSD, no matter what a person how they developed it, it's a very very horrible condition to have to go through because just certain sounds or certain. I tell you, this is how bad it affects me. And people mean well. It's all out of love and support, but people will share on Facebook these posts for cancer and type amen and stuff like that, and then to show like the cancer, and like I've had to ask friends, please don't post that, or maybe take me where I can't see it, because it put me back. Like that's how bad it affects me. When I see a cancer commercial, I hate those. It literally throws me right back to where I was, and I know that they mean well. It's a beautiful thing what they do, but that's how bad it affects me. I go into this. It's like I go back, and I feel that all over again, and it's hard to cope with that. It really is.
I do too. I think that's why I stay so close with the ladies in the chemo room, and bring lunch and make coffee and bring coffee and sit with ladies, and because I just I feel like if I leave it entirely it's hard to explain. I'll be right back there. You know what I mean? I feel like by doing all this, I'm kind of facing my fear. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of like I'm walking through, my fear by helping and it's kind of like I'm just facing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something else, It's something else. It's I go through the same thing when I see commercials, and one thing that really gets me is when I hear women say, and I've had, my own sister say this, well, I got my mammogram, I'm good for a year, I'm okay. I think to myself, oh my goodness, because I had my mammogram and I was diagnosed with my breast cancer 3 months after my mammogram. And my cancer never, to this day, even my bilateral reoccurrence that I'm dealing with right now, does not show up on mammography film.
Mm.
It only shows up on MRI.
Wow.
And so I have to go have an MRI for them to see anything. And so, when you talked about your cancer experiencing being a unique situation, or a different situation than most, colon cancer, it's not the standard. Mine wasn't either, because the mere fact that it doesn't show up on mammography film. When they did the needle biopsy, they had to do it with ultrasound, and then right before my surgery, they had to they ran what looked like, I'll just call it, it looked like it was a wire, a thin wire, but it looked like a guitar string to me. I grew up with a family of musicians, so this thing looked like a guitar string to me. And the surgeon wanted them to guide it right through the center of that tumor in my breast, and they did it by using ultrasound, and they numbed me a little bit, but it was painful. And then my husband and I got in the car and we walked. We drove right. The hospital's right behind, or the place where I had the ultrasound was right behind the hospital. So we just got in the car and reparked, walked into where the back of the hospital is, where the surgery rooms were. And there I had that wire sticking out, and that was going to guide the surgeon. And they couldn't even see the cancer. He called the ultrasound room and he said, just have her do a mammogram film real quick and have her carry that with her. And so they did that, and I carried it with me, and it still didn't show up. And he mentioned that to me when he pulled out that and he looked at it. He goes, wow. He goes, I can't even see it so mine doesn't even show up on mammograms.
That's really scary for a woman.
It's very scary.
To know that it doesn't necessarily always pick that up. So
yeah, there are certain types of cells that do not ever even show up on mammogram films. So it's really important to do the self breast exams. It is really important to learn properly, how to do it properly and to do it often. And that's how I found my cancer. I found it myself. It was a small lump, and it felt like a raisin, just like they say. But they say, they say cancer is not painful, or breast cancer isn't painful. I've heard that, and that's BS. Because mine felt like, what drew me to this self-exam in the bathtub that, to find that raisin was I found myself scratching. Like I was in the kitchen cooking and I would just scratch in this spot, or I would be doing dishes and I would scratch this spot. And I kept feeling this little bee sting type feeling or a little needle poking type. It's hard to explain. And it felt like an itch underneath the skin. And so that's what drew my attention to it. And then I did a self exam and I noticed it. And that's how I found it. And then went to the doctor. I made an appointment. He wasn't going to do anything about it. He said, "You're young, you're fine, you have no family history. Let's just go ahead and let this go." And I'm the one who said no. So I encourage everyone to always ask their doctor. If you have a gut feeling, make them give you that next test and see, because early detection is everything. And so you said that yours wasn't so early.
No, it was already at stage 3 at that point.
Oh, stage 3, yeah.
And but that's the miraculous thing about it all. Like they said, had I not had appendicitis, I would have been dead. They would have never known that I had colon cancer. So it was like, it was a blessing in disguise. For whatever reason, it happened, and it was horrible. And God, the pain, I couldn't bear it. But I tell you what, I thank God that I did have that appendicitis, because I would have been gone from the cancer, like they said.
Wow. That is one heck of a journey. And then what you're dealing with today, I have a little list of my prayers that, I include everybody, but, just, I hate cancer, Tatted Tee. I hate it.
Oh, I hate the word. I hate it with everything in me. I hate it. It's a nightmare. And there's all types of different diseases where people suffer, and it's horrible. But I would not wish cancer on anybody. I don't care who you are. That's just something I never want to see people go through. And unfortunately, I've had to lose so many people from cancer. My aunt that I was the closest to, she passed from it. And she was so proud of me when I overcame it. Was so proud. She would brag to people everywhere.
Yep.
And I could have known 4 years later she'd be gone from female cancer, cervical. And women, ladies, listen. She didn't go get her pap smears. Her what is it, a 1 year, like annually? She didn't do it for about 10 years. And they said if she would have just went and got her pap smears, that she would still be here.
Yeah, early detection is everything. It truly is. I'm very grateful. Mine was caught, and, right before my 5 year, I ended up with the bilateral reoccurrence, but it's not doing anything. It looks like it might be doing something according to the reports. My husband picked up my reports yesterday because I just couldn't wait for my doctor. I called. He's not going to be back from vacation till the 2nd. So I got to get his interpretation of what it says, but I've already looked up what it is, and so we'll see. But I've got faith.
It carries us through.
I
don't try to push, like my spirituality on people. I just, let when they come to know me, and I think it speaks for itself. Like when they learn about me, I mean, it blows them out of the water. And my experience, like I said, my life, my personal experience, it was all to the man upstairs. It was my faith. because of him. And it was only through him and by him that I'm here.
Well, I believe that through just finding mine, there is a power greater than myself, because I often ask myself, why did I do that breast exam that day? I wasn't doing breast exams on a regular basis. Like I said, my habits were I drank, I smoked, I ate anything I want. I ate out all the time. I did what I wanted. And cancer was the last thing on my mind. Even though my mom, passed away from lung cancer, I figured, well, I'm good because I quit. I quit smoking. So heck, I'll be all right there. And I know there's a power greater than myself, because something somewhere told me, hey, directed my attention to scratching my boob while I was cooking and cleaning and, setting the table and all that. I kept reaching over and scratching, and something made my brain say, why are you doing that? And then finding it and then telling the doctor, no, I'm not going to let it go. Please, let's investigate this a little further. So that's not my normal personality. So for me to walk through all that, and I look back, hindsight being 2020, I realize somebody was looking after me. And that's a power greater than I am. So I'm very grateful to be here too, Tatted Tee. I really am.
It makes you look at life completely different, doesn't it?
It truly does. It makes you look at your kids, your family, your grandkids, everybody differently. And, I know there's a lot of people in the live stream that, suffer daily with other illnesses that, deserve as much attention as cancer. And definitely I want to support everybody. I know there's worse things out there. We deal with a lot. Our illness gets a lot of attention, more so than a lot of other sufferers. I've seen people talk about Lyme disease in the live stream, and how horrible that is, and lupus, how horrible that is, and it's hard. It's hard to be sick. It's hard to have invisible illnesses, and where you look good, but you feel like crap all the time, And I work very hard at looking good, so people don't end up feeling bad for me. Do you find yourself doing that? You try to look good, so.
Oh yeah, I don't. My wife sitting right here to tell you, I don't like attention. I don't like somebody to comfort me. I want to be by myself. That's just me. And I feel like because I did it alone, I did it by myself, and that's what I'm used to. That's my comfort. And I know people mean well when they, like my wife always want to be right there with me and supportive, but I kind of like shut off, and it's not my heart. I don't mean to, but it's how I cope and I get through, is being to myself and just fighting the battle on my own. And that's how it affects me.
Wow. Well, I'm really honored and grateful that you gave me this opportunity to put this video up on my channel, because I'm trying to build content to help others. That's my goal. For years, there's been little things that I do that friends and family have told me, you should make some videos so others could see, what you do, because I'll share some of the things I eat, and I'm kind of a vegetable Nazi, but you know, I hope the things that I share can help. I know they're not going to help everybody, but I hope they help, you know, others. That's my goal. I know the survivor stories most definitely are going to help others. Your story definitely is going to help someone out there, you know, and might not just be from, you know, the YouTube community that you and I know, those friends, but also people outside of, you know, the friends that we've made in this YouTube community. You know, we never know where these videos are going to end up, you know, but I have faith that they're going to be watched by people who really, really, really need to hear what we got to say at the time that we say it. I have that faith. So I just really want to thank you for going back in time and sharing your story with us. I know it's not always easy.
I appreciate you for having me on. That was truly an honor. A lot of people, unfortunately, are caught up on outer appearance. Not a lot of people look at me and cast me aside type thing. They don't want to hear me. But thank God for your open heart and your love and allowing me to come on. It's truly an honor. And anytime, I'll be there. You have my love and all my support.
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to just do random chats and bring other folks on just to chat about how they're doing, you know, in their daily lives and what they're going through, you know. I'm really, really super excited that sometime after New Year's, the next week, Makeup by Mandy B has accepted an invitation to come on and demonstrate makeup techniques on my channel. And because when we lose our hair, we have to change our makeup. And when we lose our eyebrows, we don't have any guidelines to help draw on our eyebrows. And she accepted an invitation to come on and do that, and she's well loved by everybody. And I'm excited. I was excited when you accepted my invitation to come on, and I'm excited that she has accepted. And I hope that if there's anybody in the stream that, you know, it has a story, they get a hold of me on Twitter, and you know, we do more of these. And you know, I'd like to invite more folks on and do these videos to share stories, experience, strength, and hope. You know, I see you and yours, and you have a lot of love in your streams. You have a lot of support and people that care. And I just love the way you guys interact. You know, you and Mrs. T, you're beautiful. You got beautiful hearts. And I know, you know, beautiful hearts come from a lot of pain. You know, yeah, we get that way because we've been through a lot of struggle. You know.
Well, we love and appreciate you, what you're doing. Again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. To have this channel, this resource for others that are survivors and who may be going through it, or for someone who is affected by it because of someone they love that's going through it, that they would have your channel to come listen to and be a part, and have that hope and that strength, just from the beauty and kindness of your heart. So I truly thank you for what you're doing and where you're going with it. It helps remind me of who I am. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Hey, I want to ask another question. For the, you know, breast cancer, it's 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer at least once in their lifetime. Do you know what the statistics are for colon cancer?
To be honest, I can't give a number. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know.
Do you know what the
I know that it's usually in older people, like they say, like 50 on up, that you're at a higher risk. And that's pretty much all I know. Like,
I
it's
was just
the,
going to say that I think that childhood colon cancer is I think it is rare.
yeah, it's very rare, especially they were blown away because it wasn't genetic. Um, right to this day, it's still, I would be a liar if I said I didn't question that. I still how on earth did that come about? Where did that come into place? Like, we want those type of answers, but sometimes we don't get them. But I'm got to be blessed. I'm still here, obviously, but my mind always takes me back, and I question why, how did that come about? A kid, and to go through all that. I was the talk of the city. I mean, I was nominated by the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, the Young Heroes Association. They
Oh,
awarded me a medal on the news live. They were there covering it. Um, Blessings to Make-A-Wish Foundation. They picked me over thousands and thousands of children, and granted me a very special wish. And to be able, and I felt guilt from that. I got my wish granted, and I survived too. So I felt guilty for that. But people like that type of community, it's just truly a beautiful thing what they do. Make a Wish Foundation and all those things. It's hard for I turn kind of away. I don't. It's not that I turn my back to it, but due to where it throws me back, I I kind of run from it. Like when I became of age and I was feeling better, I went back to that same children's hospital and worked for 5 years on the cancer ward. But I tell you what, I got to where I couldn't take it no more.
yeah.
But I,
So you did yeah, you did basically what I'm doing. And I know I can't do this forever also, but yeah, you were drawn back to it to help out.
yeah, I did it as long as I could. And one of the last, and especially in the children's hospital, you got to think babies, toddlers, little children,
Yeah.
bald-headed, fighting for their life. One of the things that really did it for me, one of my last days of working there, I went back into the hemoc oncology ward, and there was a patient that her call light, because I worked at the nurses station a lot, and I went to go to her room to check on her, and she was a beautiful little black girl. She couldn't been no more than 7 years old, and she, all her hair gone, and she was so sick. She had all them IVs hooked up, and her nurse was one of my main nurses when I was sick with it. And it just started hitting me. And I looked at her. I said, "Sweetie," I said, "Can I pray for you?" And she shook her head yes. And she was so weak and obviously so tired. But it broke my heart. And I was getting the emotions were so strong that I had to walk away. And they were wanting to pay for my college, my schooling to go higher up. And at that time, it was my time to walk from it because I was being thrown back. And for people that are work in healthcare, the for people that's ill with cancer, for anybody that's sick, people, the nurses and doctors who are there because they're sincere, they love what they do, helping people. The ones that are there just for the job. But I tell you what, the nurses that I've always encountered that work with cancer patients and survivors and doctors, they're such beautiful people. And
Absolutely.
always
Absolutely.
trying to lift them up and pray for them because they're angels on earth. They've been my angel, many angels, and so I know it has to affect them too. So we need to
Yes.
always be mindful of them as well.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I wrote an article for Cure magazine on my aunt nurse, and she's the reason why I get my reports before the doctor gets back from vacation, because I am knowledgeable and I have gone all through this research and nutrition stuff, and I help in the chemo room. She gives me, she gives me what I want. And, can I have my reports before the doctor, initials them? Yeah, here you go. But yeah, the people in the medical community that take care of us, they are my heroes. I know sooner or later, I have to walk away from this too. And I feel I have to walk away from, giving the rides and all that, which I'm still doing. But I am going to I feel, Tatted Tee, I do feel like I'm at that point where it's my time to say goodbye to this. Last year, two people that I got real close to passed, and it hurts. And, my husband reminds me, he says, if you're going to hang around the cancer crew, you're going to lose people. And you got to know that going in. You got to harden up your heart. And I just can't. So I'm getting to the point where I think I have to stop.
Well, know that what you've done has truly been a blessing and a light to so many that you've cared for, and not just the ones you care for, but the ones that see you in your comings and your going. So you're a beautiful person, and you're an angel for each and one of those that you've cared for all that time. And I, out of all people, can relate and understand and respect that it's your time to pull back from that. I think it's a very healthy thing. And know this, don't carry no guilt. Don't feel bad. Don't feel like you're leaving somebody behind, or that worry, that burden, that's not yours to carry. Know that you're blessed and you were used for that time, that season, for a very special purpose. So don't carry no guilt.
Exactly.
That way.
I feel, I think when one door closes, another opens. And that's why, I want to focus on this YouTube channel to be what it is. And I think this is a way of closing one door and opening a new door, and, helping that way. And I feel good about that. I think I'll always have it in my heart to be a part of the cancer community in one way or another, but I do have to take care of me. I do. And what you shared is real. It's so real. The anxiety and the post-traumatic stress and all of those feelings, those they're just so profound. They're hard to get past. And I have anxiety with just coming on here, and I really, a shout out to Amanda Love. She has had me on panel many times, which has really helped me walk through an awful lot of fear. And I'm just uber goober lady helping me get online. I'm shaking to death while I'm trying to figure this out. And it just, that panic, it's awful. I hate it. I hate it.
Well, you did it, and you did a beautiful job. So all is well.
Yeah, it did. I got you here.
I was kind of picking at you because we both ironically went live at the same exact time, and I'm not tech savvy. I don't know what to do. And I'm like, what? I said, Lord, what is she doing? I don't know what I'm doing. So you're not alone with that either.
Well, I thought you said your wife was vacuuming and then we would go live in an hour.
Yeah.
And so I put it out there. And so I thought that was, what we're doing here.
Yeah, and I went on to my live because people asked for me to go on live to let them know. That way they knew they were notified to go to the right channel so they could be there. So I was just going on to be real quick to say, hey, I'm going to Sweet Meadow. But as soon as I went to say that, you went on live, and I was like, wait a minute, like you're waiting for me, and like so I was trying to get that sorted, and but I mean all is well. It worked out beautifully. The timing was perfect. I've held up to the very last minute that I can. I unfortunately I can't stay on now because I got to go pick up my children.
Yeah, it's time to end
It's
this stream.
truly an honor again for having me on, and anytime you would need somebody to talk to or want me on panel to speak again, whatever the case may be, know that I'm definitely there for you. All my love and support to you.
I know that. I pop in your streams, and there's a lot of wonderful people in there, and always get a big hello, and I always feel very loved and welcome, and I enjoy going in there and saying hi to everybody. I just don't go live a lot. I'm gonna just go live for these types of I not interviews, but exchanges where people can share their story and share their talents and stuff like that for the cancer community. But I don't think just to I just think I have too much anxiety to do the live chat just to do it. So I think I'm better off I'm more comfortable just participating in the live chats, really. I don't mind coming on panel, but I'm feeling more comfortable just being in the live streams.
So. And you'll continue to grow, and
yeah,
I see you really. I see you going somewhere, and I'm talking to you on your channel. I see a beautiful thing, and you will definitely get there. What you're doing already, I applaud you. Sharing your story and inviting others. It blessed me so much to hear you say that Makeup Mandy is coming on doing what she's doing. That really touches me. She's a beautiful heart, beautiful person, and you got a lot of good things going on for your channel, and you have all my love and support. And know that me and my wife love you and appreciate you. And real quickly, I'm gonna say before I close this, you asked the statistics my wife pulled up for colon cancer. Um, it's one in 21, a 4.7% for men, and 1 in 23, a 4.4% for women. And in the year of 2017, we've lost 50,260 people to colon cancer. That's just in America.
wow.
But again, thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate you. I'm sorry that I have to get off at this time.
I think we're done. That's okay. Don't even worry about it. I appreciate it, and thank you so much, Tatted Tee. Thank you.
Thank you.